Hey guys, I want to do a quick video on the lateral lunge. Took class last week, realized in the moment that it's a tough movement to shim, but it's really, really important that we do use a progression to get athletes ready for it. In this particular class, we kind of went from general heat building to, okay, do some lateral lunges, and it's just a lot for the hips, it's a lot for the knees. So I want to give you two little tricks that you can keep up your sleeve as a coaching staff. Anytime you see a lateral lunge come up, it's just a way to progress and shim out the lateral lunge. The first one is just doing a standard lunge and then slowly adding angles to it, okay? So basically it would look like a forward lunge, stepping back, and that's a pretty standard lunge that most of our athletes are going to be pretty comfortable doing. And then we'd step out at a slight angle. So again, we just step out, off our line slightly, and then step back, slightly greater angle, off our line, step back, slightly greater angle, off our line, step back. And what I would encourage you to do is not worry so much about this back leg. Let it just kind of absorb the motion however it wants to. And then we take a pretty extreme angle out to the side, right? And you can start to see it looks like a lateral lunge, but because it's still at an angle, it makes it a little bit more manageable. And slowly we've made people increasingly comfortable with the true iteration of the movement, where we completely go out to 3 o'clock, ride it down, and step back to the top. Great little shim progression, forward, slight angle, until you get there. Let people's bodies sort of acclimate to it. Another fun one, and this is something that you can use not only for a lateral lunge, but for anytime you see pistols or one-legged squats. It goes like this. Center yourself on a mat line. So can you see that? Mm-hmm. So if you center yourself on a mat line, and we do a traditional air squat where the center of our body is directly over the mat line, and I do an air squat and I ride it back down, let's say that I'm going to be progressing my right leg lateral lunge, okay? What you do is you take your left foot and you step it out a couple inches. Now what I want your athletes to do, and this is where the mat line is important, is keep the center of mass, keep their center line when they descend down to the next rep over that center line. Meaning, because I moved my foot, their temptation will be to come off center, stay over the center line, do another traditional air squat. And you can see how it starts to look. Right? This leg doesn't look the same as this leg. My weight is in my right leg because I stay centered on this line, and then I stand. Take that left leg, shove it out a little further. Stay centered on the mat line, okay? Ride it down. And again, I'm not so worried about what this leg is doing. I'm letting this leg feel what it's like to own the majority of the work. I take a bigger step, still just trying to center myself on this mat line. To do that, as the feet get wider, to do that I have to almost shift. So I start to shift, and I get my center over this mat line again. You can see what's happening in my left leg. And then lastly, we would take that big step, try to get ourselves over this mat line, ride it down, and you can see that it starts to look a lot like a lateral lunge without ever actually bringing our feet back together. So then, from there, we should be pretty much ready to do the dynamic iteration of the full rep. So those are two tricks, little progressions, little shims, little ways to introduce and teach and warm up a movement, and keep it up your sleeve for the next time you see lateral lunges.